Hello children and welcome to today's session. Children, there's a variety of objects around us that we see every day. Some of these objects are natural. For example, the plants around us or the fruits and vegetables that we bring from the market, they're all natural. And the cutlery and the crockery that we use are all man-made. Children, today in this chapter, we are going to understand about these. We are going to understand from chapter 3, synthetic fibers and plastics. So as I just said, there is a variety of things around us. So there is wood, there is plastic, there is steel, leather, cane, cement, etc. These are all examples of materials around us. Now these materials can either be natural or they can be man-made. So natural things like coal, jute, etc. they come from nature. And man-made things are things that are like plastics, paints, synthetic fibers, medicines, fertilizers that are made by man in laboratories. They are man-made materials. And so are plastics. So in this chapter, we are going to learn about two of these man-made materials, which are synthetic fibers and plastics. What are fibers? In grade 7, you understood that fibers are the tiny filaments that are woven together to form a fabric. Now, these fibers can be obtained from natural sources or they can be made in the factories by man. And then they are known as synthetic fibers. Let us revise the few natural fibers that we use in our everyday life. So there is cotton from cotton plant. There is jute from jute plant. There is wool, which is the soft hair of sheep, goat, rabbit and camel. Silk from the silkworm. Linen from flax plant. Hemp from marijuana plant. Coir from the outside shell of the coconut. These are all natural fibers. Now, what are man-made fibers? Man-made fibers are called synthetic fibers. Synthetic means something that is not natural. It is artificial. So, these man-made fibers may be rayon, nylon, polyester, etc. Now, let us understand about these fibers in this video. Rayon is a synthetic fiber prepared from cellulose by chemical processes in industries. Cellulose is obtained from wood pulp. It is also called artificial silk because it resembles silk. It is used to make bed sheets, carpets, tire cords, bandage, etc. Nylon was the first synthetic fiber to be made by man. It is a polymer fiber made of polyamide chains in which the monomer is an amide. It is a very strong fiber and is used to make fishing nets, climbing ropes, parachute fabrics, saris, socks, etc. Polyester is also a synthetic fiber made of monomers called ester. It is manufactured from petroleum products. It is used to make saris, curtain cloth, water hoses, sails, etc. Acrylic is another synthetic fiber made from polyacrylonitrile. Polyacrylonitrile is obtained by the polymerization of acrylonitrile molecules obtained from petroleum products. Acrylic is lightweight, warm and soft, giving it a wool-like feel. Acrylic is cheaper than wool and is used to make sweaters, shawls, blankets, jackets, etc. So here we have learned the different kinds of synthetic fibers. We have also learned what are the properties of these fibers and how they can be used. Now children, in order to prove that of all these, nylon has the maximum tensile strength, there is an activity given in your book which you must do. It is done with very easy available material from your school laboratory. This can actually be taken up in the class. We have also learnt about nylon, polyester, and we have learnt about acrylic as well. Now, let us move on for the need for synthetic materials. We all know that the natural fibers are, number one, costly. Number two, they are difficult to maintain. For example, if you wear a cotton shirt compared to a rayon shirt, the cotton shirt will crease easily. Rayon will not crease. A cotton shirt will need separate hand washing. A rayon shirt can be easily put into your washing machine. The third is also availability. For example, if we talk about cotton also, so if 1 year the crops fail or there is excessive rain or no rain, what is going to happen? The supply of cotton will be reduced. On the other hand, as far as synthetic fibers are concerned, this will never happen because they are being manufactured in the factories. So they are cheap, they are durable, and they are available in bulk. That is why synthetic materials are gaining more and more preference above natural materials. Talking about polymerization, we have learned again and again in the different kind of synthetic fibers that they are made by bonding of many units of a substance. So these single units are known as polymers. They are bound together to form many units which are known as polymer, and this process is known as polymerization. Now, again there are two types of polymers. There are natural polymers, for example, cellulose, natural rubber, cotton, wool, silk, protein. These are all natural polymers. Then there are synthetic polymers which we have just studied like nylon, terylene, etc. Children, plastics are also polymers. And how are they made? They are actually made by subjecting these monomer units to a lot of heat. How? Let's understand. Plastics are also polymers made up of a very large number of monomers. Plastics are used by all of us in our daily life. Plastics are non-reactive as they do not react with water or air. They do not corrode like metals. They are used to make raincoats, curtains, soles of shoes, etc. Plastics are light and rigid, are widely used in industry and household articles. Plastics are strong and durable and used widely in industry once again. Plastics are poor conductors of heat. Therefore, handles of utensils are made of bakelite, a kind of plastic, and they do not get heated when put on fire. Electric wires are covered with plastic handles. Screwdrivers are made of plastics because they do not conduct electricity. So children, we have learned the variety of uses of plastics. Now let us also understand the two basic kinds of plastics. So there are thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. Thermoplastics, thermo means heat. So a plastic that can be shaped and reshaped again and again on heating will be known as a thermoplastic. And a thermosetting plastic will be a plastic like your melamine plate. Once it is put in shape, it can resist heat to very high temperatures. They cannot be reshaped. So this was the difference between thermoplastic and thermosetting. So given here in your book are a list of man-made plastics, their properties and uses. So a polythene is a thermoplastic. That means you can reshape it after using. And what are the uses? We know that it is used to pack liquids. It is used as polythene pipes and also in carrying things from the market. It is strong and flexible. It can be rolled into sheets, molded into any shape. Then comes polyvinyl chloride. It is again a thermoplastic, but it is tougher than polythene and it is an insulator. That is why PVC is used for covering electric wires, in making shoes, handbags, furniture, upholstery and so many other things. Polystyrene is again a thermoplastic and it is easily molded. It is used to make objects like electronic items and to insulate the hollow walls of the refrigerator. Perspex, a thermoplastic, it is transparent like glass but much stronger. Therefore, it is used in making windows for aeroplanes and windscreens of cars. Teflon is a thermoplastic. It is slippery but it is not affected by heat. It also does not chemically react with other substances. Therefore, it is used as a non-stick coating on pans. Bakelite, as we discussed in the video, is a thermosetting plastic. That means upon heating, it will not change shape. And where is it used? It is used in making handles of cooking utensils. Formica and melamine also we have discussed that they are thermosetting plastic with a hard and smooth surface, and they are used in creating tabletops and crockery items. So children, we have learned the common uses of plastic and we have also learned the advantages. Let's quickly revise them. So plastics are lightweight, they are watertight, airtight, they are shatterproof because they are strong, sturdy and durable. They are insulators, they are rust-free and they are less reactive. With so many advantages also, we keep hearing that plastics are damaging the environment. Why? Because they are non-biodegradable. A plastic polythene may lie for millions of years in the soil, but it will not be decomposed by any microorganism. Another important problem is that the sewage pipes get choked because of plastics. And if animals eat plastics, they may also choke. Plastics can also contaminate foodstuffs because the different dyes that are used in making these plastics are absorbed by the food that is put in them. So what are the steps to tackle plastic pollution? Make minimum use of plastic materials. Take your own cotton or jute bags when you go for shopping to the market. Avoid storage of eatables in plastic bags. Ask the shopkeepers to use only paper bags. Do not burn plastics. They produce poisonous gases. Do not throw plastics, polybags here and there after use. Use steel lunch boxes instead of plastic boxes. Avoid unnecessary packing of gifts in plastic covers and follow the 3 R's: reuse, reduce and recycle. So children, in this chapter, we have learned the various kinds of synthetic fibers, plastics, etc. We have learned their properties, how they are made and where they are used. We've also learned about the increasing menace of pollution because of all these, which is in your hands to control. Thank you so much.